Welcome back to JPTV. This week we have lots of national and local news to bring to you.
In national news, in Utah, a group of state biologists discovered a 10-foot tall metal object on November 18th. With the help of satellite imaging, the public discovered that it was placed presumably sometime between 2015 and 2016. The exact location was found by a Reddit user named Tim Slane, who found the exact coordinates within hours of the Utah Department of Public Safety posting it on Instagram. People flooded in from around the state to see what people think is a possible art installation, but it was removed on the evening of November 27th apparently by two men driving a pickup truck. All that was left was a triangle piece that used to be on the top of the structure. On the other side of the world, in Romania, another monolith appeared on a hill on November 26th. Within 4 days, the structure seemingly vanished.
After being online and doing remote learning for 2 weeks and then a week off for Thanksgiving, we are finally back on campus doing in-person learning. We asked some students how they felt about online school and in-person school. We also talked to Mr. Coco to see what the protocols and all he's doing to get us back in school.
All right, first off, we just want to say thank you. We're glad to be back in school, the hard work that you've done.
We're glad to have y'all back in school.
But is there anything that you can tell us, any like the challenges, the stresses that you've had, trying to get everyone back safely?
Sure. Well, I mean, I think all the teachers, all the administrators, the students, we've all worked hard this whole year to try and make sure that we start school and stay in school. We did a great job going through the first part of this semester. We had a little bit of a hiccup when we came back from Halloween, which we knew that the reason why we put the protocols in place and did all the planning we did this summer was because we knew that was something that was very likely to happen, that we were going to have an issue that was going to happen during the school year, and we had to have a plan to deal with it. And I thought as a school, we handled it as well as you could possibly handle something like that. It wasn't something that was unexpected. We knew that was a possibility. We followed our protocols to the letter. We moved the senior high to remote, and then we moved the junior high, and then we came back, and right now we're doing well. The numbers are down where we'd like for them to be, and we feel very comfortable going forward. So it really worked the way that we planned for it to work during the summer, and we really sort of effectuated the plan that we had in place.
So would you say that the going online, is that more dependent on the amount of students or like the amount of teachers that are sick?
That's a great question. It's both. It's both. I think either one, if we reach a critical mass, then it'll push us to have to go remote. If we have enough teachers that are out with COVID, then we would have to go remote, just because it would be unwieldy to try and do it that way. But the students are the same way. And it was interesting because it really became evident very clearly. We had sort of a number in our mind, but it wasn't fixed. But it became very clear at what point that we said, okay, we need to give, at that point, the 9th through 12th grade a rest and let them see if we can get that better. And then it became evident when, hey, we want to make the decision to move the junior high, because that was probably more being a little proactive, knowing that we were going into the Thanksgiving holiday, and it gave us an opportunity to have kind of a nice 2-week break to get everybody healthy, and it worked. We went, we had a fairly large number that really decreased to about 5 or 6, I think, when we came out of Thanksgiving, and now it's down to about 3. So I mean, we really have kind of continued a trend, and I think that everybody having that experience and going through that kind of emphasize the importance of some of the things that we're doing. And I think that we've responded really in a really positive way as a school community to that experience. And I think it put in everyone's mind that this is real, and it can get, it can get out of hand really quickly if we're not careful. And so I think everyone's really responded in a great way of recognizing the issue we had, dealing with it, and getting better. And I'm very optimistic about where we are and heading through the rest of this semester.
Right, I hope so too. I mean,
it's nice to be back.
Yes, sir, definitely. Well, thank you for all the hard work that you do for our school. Thank you for getting us back safely, and hopefully we get to stay in.
Absolutely. Y'all are doing a great job, by the way. I've enjoyed watching all the broadcasts. I'm really excited about what y'all are doing. It's fun to watch.
Thank you, sir.
We also asked some students how they felt about online school and in-person school, and which they preferred. Sarah, do you like online school or in-person school better?
I like online school better because I don't like the 10-minute breaks and that the Wi-Fi is terrible.
Liddy, do you like online school or in-person school better, and why?
In-person school because I get lonely online at home alone.
Do you like online school or in-person school better, and why?
Yes! I like online school because I get to sleep.
These last few weeks have been very different here on the Prep campus, starting off with school spirit. Being online takes a toll on the students. Hours spent in your bedroom learning just isn't the same as being around friends and faculty. Something about being in person allows you to get more involved at school and excited for the big events ahead. For example, during the playoff week, we were unable to have a pep rally, and some may say this affected the outcome of the game. Another fun event we were unable to have is the drumline walk through the hallways. This is something that the cheerleaders and the band members participated in on big game days. With school spirit down and limited student attendance at the game, there was an off feeling. It seemed quiet on our side compared to our opponents, who weren't facing many COVID restrictions. Being off campus was hard for a number of reasons, and we couldn't be more excited to be back. We want to thank Prep for doing everything possible to keep us safe during these uncertain times.
Victoria, do you think no school spirit affected the playoff game?
Yes, I definitely think no school spirit affected us losing that game because the no school, no pep rally, and basically no students definitely had an outcome in the game because everyone looks forward to going to school on Fridays, having pep rallies, and the seniors specifically got a lot of stuff taken away from them that we were so looking forward to have. So that's really upsetting. Also, the fact that there were about 12, maybe 15 students in the student section definitely played a factor because JA, if you looked, they had about everyone in their student section, and we didn't. So the atmosphere definitely played a role in the loss of that game, and it definitely affected a lot of the seniors. So yeah, no school spirit was definitely a factor in why we lost.
Michael, how do you think the lack of our student section affected the game?
Well, it's just really unfortunate. You know, they doubled our student section at least. They didn't have to sit as far apart. And then we had our main guys like Ethan Aldridge just show up in the second quarter, and it's really disappointing for our guys, and I think we really let them down. But it is what it is. It's a virus, and just glad we got to have this season, but it could have been different.
We're very thankful for Prep keeping us safe and doing all they can do.
Now that we are back in school here at Prep, the performing arts have decided the show must go on. We have a very exciting next few weeks in the theater. Tuesday night, Prep put on their first performance of their one-act musical, Smoke on the Mountain. Performances are December 3rd and 5th at 7 in Lindsay Hall. You can purchase your tickets on the Jackson Prep website. The musical was directed by Miss Wilkinson and stars seniors Tori Johnson and Bradley Stafford. Next week, you can catch the production of The Devil and Daniel Webster by the Intro to Drama classes, which are rescheduled for Wednesday, December 9th at 6 p.m. in Lindsay Hall. There will be 4 performances directed by teacher Mr. Yance. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, attendance will be limited to invitation only and not open to the general public. However, all performances will be recorded and made available on the Jackson Prep internet platforms.
Last Tuesday, all of us here at JPTV got the chance to talk with WAPT Channel 16 News anchor Megan West. Miss West would help us learn how an actual newscast is done. She told us about behind the scenes and how each person on the show actually does many different jobs. After speaking with her, our show was recorded and it was put on the 10 o'clock news. This was a very exciting and unique opportunity. Now, let's take a quick commercial.
Jackson Prep. It's a place for artists, a place for scholars,
a place for athletes,
an all-around amazing place.
to be who you are and all that you aspire to be.
Discover your Jackson Prep possibilities.
Join us for a tour.
On this week's sports segment, we will be covering the sailing team along with boys and girls basketball, men's soccer, and the MIS All-Star Game. For the All-Star Game, one of our own, Thaxton Birch, was chosen to play and interviewed several players who will play alongside him.
We're here with Jeffrey Ince. He is one of the football players at Jackson Prep. He made the All-Star team, and we got a few questions to ask him. So, with this being your last high school football game ever, are you looking to have more fun, or are you looking to take it seriously and, play your game?
I just want to have some fun.
Yep. All right, that's awesome. Now, how many touchdowns are you going to score?
Probably like 12.
I find that hard to believe. On to the next one. Jackson Prep's quarterback also made the All-Star team. You had a pretty good year, wouldn't you say?
Not all right year.
Yeah, a lot of people would say you had a good year. So are you looking to have some fun in this game, or you trying to take it more seriously and, get some yards and stuff?
I'm looking to have more fun, meet some good players, play with some good players. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, what do you think your passer percentage is going to be?
It's got to be 100%. I think I'm going to break the single game high school record for like 800 yards throwing. That's just me, but yeah, I'm just looking to have a good time.
Wise words from an awesome football player. Oh, wait, the superstar running back is here? There he is. Let's go. Matt Jones. You making the All-Star game. Are you going to have more fun, or are you looking to, gain 1,000 more yards? I don't know. He doesn't know. That's Matt Jones, star running back, Jackson Prep.
Our men's soccer team is 2-0 with 2 wins against Pillow Academy. They start their season off playing at the beautiful Jackson Prep soccer field, which hasn't happened in many years in the men's program. The game resulted in the first win of the season against Pillow, 6-0, and the second win on the road at Pillow, 5-0. The soccer team is off to a strong start, and their next game is today, December 3rd, against Florence High School. The sailing team won a few competitions this past weekend in New Orleans, and members Allison Curry, who's a sophomore, and Mitchell Martin, who is a senior, competed together and won first place in their fleet.
I'm here with Allison Curry, one of the members of the prep sailing team, and they just had a win at a competition, and so I was just going to ask Allison a few questions. So how did you get into sailing?
Well, it's actually kind of a funny story. So whenever I was little, on Sundays, my mom used to make me go do a bunch of chores. And so, and my mom and my brother and my sister and my dad used to go out sailing. And so one day I was just so sick and tired of doing the chores, and I went out sailing with them, and I loved it. So now I sail.
That's so exciting. Another question is just I don't know that much about sailing, but what is kind of the key factor that helps win these races and these competitions?
It's more it's like a team sport mainly. And so on the boats that we sail for high school sailing, they're called 420 dinghies, which is, and so, but they're you have 2 people on the boat. And so one person needs to watch out. It's all about timing, basically. It's just mainly about timing.
Yeah. And do you think that the prep sailing team will continue to be able to compete with all the other sailing teams and continue to place high in competitions?
I really hope so.
Thank you for talking with us.
You're welcome.
The basketball team, both boys and girls, recently suffered from a COVID outbreak that put their season on hold for a little while. Boys head coach Tim Wise and girls Michael McAnally were willing to talk with me over Zoom about their season so far. Okay, so I'm here with Tim Wise, the boys head basketball coach. And during their season, a little while back, they had an outbreak of COVID on the team. And so I was wondering, how did that affect the games and the practices and just the team in general when the outbreak started to happen?
Yeah, well, we certainly, once we had the cases that within our team that then caused what would be called a shutdown of the team, then practices, games were completely off, and we were in essentially a 4-day waiting period for boys that weren't had not tested positive, and then we went to then those men went to getting tested, and that actually resulted in more once they started having the symptoms. So it was a complete herd of our guys that had that, and then it was essentially shut down for 10 days. And then we came back and started practicing on Tuesday when we were virtual. The whole school was virtual the Tuesday before Thanksgiving week, I call it. So, but yeah, everything was done, and coaching staff and players were quarantined, and again, had a lot of positive results for us. People have said, well, hey, y'all, your basketball team at the varsity level has pretty much maybe have what's called herd immunity based on 90 days, but I don't know if that's the case. And there's repeat, I guess, infections of the virus. So we're taking precautions on our end, in the locker room and with the protocols there, with mask and cleaning after each practice, after each game. But we certainly then have to be flexible with other teams and other schools that may be having to go through this. So, that's where we are. It's just the motto of one day at a time is ever true during this pandemic, trying to have school plus extracurricular activities.
For sure. As Coach Waz mentioned, they had a high number of cases that resulted in the loss of a few games. The girls, with only one case, their season was still stopped for an extended period of time. Now let's hear more about that from Coach McAnally.
Well, it's been very disruptive. We got started in October after all the fall sports were over, which is kind of normal for us, and we got our season started that last week of October over at MRA, and we played on November 3rd. That was our home opener against the Mississippi School for the Deaf, and then we practiced on the 4th, which is a Wednesday, getting ready to go to Simpson on Thursday, November 5th, and that's really when we kind of had our basketball outbreak start. We had one test positive that day. I think maybe the boys had some that were testing that day, and of course we had to cancel that game. And then just out of an abundance of caution, we canceled practice for the next day. For us on the girls' side, we came back to practice on Monday, November the 9th, getting ready for a game on the 10th against Central Hines, and woke up that morning planning to play. And Central Hines had become aware of our issues with COVID, and so they asked not to play the game. And then, of course, we started seeing some outbreaks, so we didn't practice the rest of the week. And so we came back Tuesday. That's the first time we had practiced since that Monday, November 9th. And we have not played a game since November 3rd. We've lost 3 games. We have not played 3 games in that time period. Our junior high girls have not played a game in the month of November. They played 2 games before Halloween and have not been able to play. So it's been very disruptive. And I think we all kind of feared that this thing may happen, and probably us as basketball coaches watching the fall sports kind of go along without too many hiccups. We were hopeful, but as we've seen, we've certainly had some disruptions lately.
That's all for this week's show. We're your anchors, Annalie Allen,
Owen Lundberg,
and Abby Huff.
Thanks for tuning in to JPTV.